So here's the thing. I used to be horrible at managing money. How horrible? I mean, horrible. I racked up over $30,000 of debt, took out student loans when I didn't need to because I joined the military and it was paying for it all. But worst of all, I was making choices that were keeping me broke. Choices now I can look back on and ask myself, what the hell was I thinking? Now, chances are you might be making some of these same choices. So here are 8 choices that are keeping you broke. Let's look at choice number 1, choosing an IUL over a 401k. This one is just, it's plain disgusting. I've seen so many insurance people market the IUL as that safe alternative over a 401k or even over a Roth IRA. And some of the features that I see promoted for an IUL, which by the way stands for Indexed Universal Life Insurance Policy. So one of the things I see is you have access to your funds at any time, which is true. Like you put money in an IUL, you do have access after time because you're prepaying the insurance cost of having this policy. So after a while, yes, you do have access, kinda. But the other one is talking about how you don't have any market volatility or you avoid having catastrophic losses in the IUL policy. And this is the frustrating one for me because, okay, so the IUL offers market protection, but what we don't talk about is one, the cost of the insurance, which basically eats away your returns. And also every IUL out there has what they call a market cap. So what does that mean? That means if you put your money in an IUL and let's say the market goes up 35%, well, most of these IULs have a cap, which means that cap is anywhere from like 9 to 12%. So that means if the stock market is up 35%, you're capped out at making that 9 or 12% return. Where does all the other excess return go? Yes, back to the insurance company. So a lot of these glorified features in IUL, it's just glorified marketing. Make sure that you understand what you're putting your money into. Choice number 2 is choosing Netflix over reading a book. I mean, we could talk about Netflix, we could talk about TikTok, we could talk about YouTube. Basically, how much time are you wasting numbing out on things that just aren't helping you grow? But let's talk about Netflix since that's what I mentioned here. So on average, people spend over 3.2 hours on Netflix a day, which equates to over 1,100 hours annually they're wasting time on Netflix. Compare that to a good book where on average people are spending 16 minutes a day or a total of 97 hours a year, not even 100 hours. This is very alarming because all the studies show that when you spend time reading a good book, it increases cognitive function and also critical thinking compared to numbing out on Netflix. Investing time reading a good book is going to increase your personal and professional development a lot more than Netflix is going to. Choice number 3 is choosing a brand new BMW over a used Honda or just a used car in general. Right now in the US, the average new car payment is $735 a month. Do you understand how insane that is? $735 a month that you are investing into an asset that depreciates 20% after the first year. Now I understand you got a job. You got to drive to your job. Like I understand that. But do you need a brand new vehicle, a BMW, a full-size SUV, a car payment of $700 a month to get to your job? You don't. You just don't. And the sad and scary thing is that this is just the average. I know people that are spending over $1,200 a month, sometimes $1,500 to $2,000 a month on a car. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the compounding projections if you actually invested that money and made 10% return, but let me tell you, it's staggering. Choice number 4 is choosing whole life insurance over term. Here come all the insurance agents to comment. Here we go. Now, in most cases, why I absolutely hate whole life insurance because I see it mismarketed, misrepresented. I see situations where an insurance agent is trying to sell and justify that somebody needs whole life insurance when they are single, have no dependents, aren't investing in a 401k or a Roth IRA, and they still have sizable debt. In those situations, it makes absolutely zero sense for them to have a whole life policy. And in fact, you could almost argue they're not even ready to have term insurance yet. And yet I see insurance agents selling whole life insurance to these people where they are paying on average 10 to 12 times more for a whole life policy than they would a term. That is a horrible choice, 100% keeping you broke. Choice number 5, choosing DoorDash over cooking at home. Now this one is a hard one for the Rose family because, we've got got 4 kids. It's a whole new generation where it's so much easier to DoorDash. But we've had to show them, hey, when you buy a cheeseburger at this place, when you actually go to the restaurant, it costs X. If you buy it on DoorDash, it's going to cost $1 or $2 more than what you're going to pay at the store, on top of delivery fee, on top of service charges, on top of potentially leaving a tip. So it's going to cost so much more. Just recently, my youngest son, he really loves McAllister's mac and cheese and chocolate chip cookie. And he wanted to use his own money to buy some, I know, super healthy. When we put it in the DoorDash app, we found that buying 2 mac and cheeses and 2 chocolate chip cookies was $22. And that was not including a tip. If you bought the exact same thing at the store, at the restaurant, it was less than $10. So we're talking more than double what you'd have to pay. That's just one example, but if you look at every single restaurant and start doing a cost comparison analysis, it's about the same across the board. Choice number 6 is choosing day trading over dividend stocks. And I get it. Trying to day trade stocks is a lot more fun, a lot more sexy than picking blue chip dividend paying stocks paying you 2 to 4%. Because everybody wants to find the next tech stock. They want to find the next Tesla or find the next Amazon that's going to 100x their investment in like 3 weeks. Can that happen? Sure, it can. Will it happen? Probably not. Because all the studies show, all the research says that on average, day traders, 90% of them are going to lose money. So are there day traders that make money? Of course there are. But these are professional day traders. Like, this is their full-time job. They're not getting on their Robinhood app at lunch, opening the app thinking they're going to make some trades and make $1,000 on their lunch break. Like, those day traders, they're going to become the 90% that lose money. Choice number 7 is choosing a $3,500 mortgage over a $2,150 rent. Yep, here comes all the comments about, oh, you're renting, you're just losing money, you're just throwing money away. You need to buy a house, you need to have equity. Listen, I get it. I own a home. Like, I don't rent. But also, talking about an insane real estate market right now. We're seeing real estate prices in some areas more than double. On top of that, we have mortgage rates that are the highest they've ever been. So for the same house that you could have bought 3 years ago, you're now paying 2 to 3 times more for the exact same house. So yeah, in some situations, it makes sense to buy, but in other situations where you don't know about your job, you don't know about your career, you don't know how long you're going to live in the area, and you have to be paying on the house for almost 8 years before you actually have any equity, until you actually are getting past just paying off the interest. In some cases, it makes sense to rent. It just does. Because when we're talking about a $3,500 a month mortgage, that's just the mortgage. That's not including property taxes, insurance. Just in our house alone this year, we've had to fix our fridge. We've had to fix our roof. We've had to fix drywall from a leak. Like, this is all stuff that is not cheap. And our house isn't that old. We built this 7 years ago. Bottom line, you're not always throwing money away if you choose to rent. Choice number 8, and this is another controversial one, choosing overtime over starting a side hustle. So here's my belief. If you only have one income stream, you are one income stream away from being broke. Because what happens today if you lose your job? Especially if you don't have a working spouse. If you are the only income provider of your household, you lose your job. Yes, you have unemployment. Yes, you might have a severance. But if you don't get another job, you're screwed. So you could spend the extra time working overtime for the one income source, or you could take that time, invest it into learning a side hustle, some sort of side business that ends up giving you an income stream that complements your current job, your current salary. Essentially, what you are creating is an insurance policy for your income. So that way, if you do lose your job or something happens with your job and you no longer have that income, at least you have the secondary income stream. It may not replace 100% of your income, but it could provide something so that losing your job, losing that income doesn't hurt as bad. And also, it could be something that ends up becoming your full-time thing now that you have more time on your hands to invest into growing it, scaling it, figuring out ways to make more money. That's just one of the many benefits of having that side hustle. And this is exactly what I did. I didn't realize I was creating a side hustle that would end up becoming my main hustle, but I had my financial planning practice. Really had no reason reason to create a secondary income stream. It just kind of happened. But by doing so, I ended up creating an online business that for many years was just a side hustle. It was a secondary income stream. Eventually, it became the main hustle. And then it became where the online business was making 3 times more than my wealth management firm. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy that it happened, but it only happened because I didn't spend that much more time, all my extra time, trying to grow the business, which was already growing. No, I took that time to learn a new high income skill that ended up landing us into hitting financial freedom at a much earlier age than I would have ever imagined. And if you're interested in learning more about this, I'll have some information in the description that you can check out. It's a free training that shows you how you can start your first online business and make $1,000 in 30 days. It's a free training. We're excited to share it with you. Check it out below. All right, y'all, until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your life, it's your money, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.